Hello and welcome to the Maths Guide, and today there's no real video again, it's just a little extension from yesterday's exercise, which was to calculate a bill. So the example that we had yesterday was 12 roses at €1.20 per rose, which means each rose costs €1.20 and there's 12 of them. So to calculate the cost, of course, you multiply 12 by 1.20 to get 14.40. The bill, there'll be lots of little pieces. There'll be milk, there'll be bread, there'll be roses. And of course, for each one of these values that you work them out, and you add them all up to get your final answer. Now today we're going to be looking at calculating a bill with VAT. So VAT stands for Value Added Tax. In Ireland, that's normally included into it. In other countries, you have to add it on yourself. So let's say the VAT for something was 12.5% for some goods. Now, you already know from primary school that percent means 12.5 over 100. It's the fraction over 100. That's almost exactly what percent means. It means out of 100. And you would write this as a decimal. So most of you will be using calculators, so just put that straight into your calculator. And most of you should be well able to divide by 100 as well, which means you're going to move the decimal place 2 to the left. So 12.5% as a decimal is 0.125. Okay, so what you would do in primary school is you would take your final answer. Let's say we worked out that our bill was €160. What you would do is you would multiply 160 by 0.125 to get whatever that happens to be. And you would add that on to your bill and you would get €180. Okay, so that's what you would do in primary school. You would multiply by the decimal version of the percent to get what that is as a decimal, and then you would add it on. In secondary school, we're not going to do that. You have your bill without VAT. And that bill was €160. You have your VAT rate, which was 12.5%, which is 12.5 over 100, which is 0.125. We like to use decimals because they work well with our calculator. Now, when I want to calculate VAT, you would multiply this value, 160, by this value, 0.125, and you would get €20, and you would add that on. In secondary school, if you wanted to add VAT, you would take your original bill, €160, and you would multiply that by 1 plus 0.125. So instead of putting 0.125 multiplied by 160 into your calculator, finding it out that is 20 and then adding it to 160, what you're going to do is you're going to take this value. So you're going to type in 160, you're going to type in multiplied by, you're going to type in brackets 1 plus 0.125. And of course, if you can do that in your head, that's going to be 160 times by 1.25. And you will get your answer, which is 180. So this is a slightly different way. This is the secondary school way of working out how to add VAT. Be very careful what we are talking about here. We are talking about adding VAT. If we're adding VAT, we multiply by 1 plus 0.125. If we are just calculating the VAT, if we only want the VAT, we multiply by 0.125. To add VAT, we multiply by 1.125. Okay, so this is going to be particularly useful to you in more questions in the future, especially for reverse questions. So remember, we looked at reversing a formula when we want to do that with VAT, we need to use this method. So we're going to practice this method for a little while. So the question today will be on bills and VAT. Again, if you're only using YouTube, the exercises are free on the worksheets. Click on the worksheets link. If you're subscribed to the maths guide, then click on the exercises and you will get your automatically corrected exercises so that you know you're on right track. But I want you to use this method. When you're adding VAT, multiply by 1 plus whatever this VAT rate is as a decimal. Okay, so best of luck with that. Have a go with that.